So now we can start its Facebook Live. Is I audible, sir?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay. So once again, good afternoon to everyone. I, Arun Verma, welcome you to this second day of 3-day training program on Incident Response System, Basic and Intermediate, which is jointly organized by NIDM and GVMC. Yesterday we have covered, Shekhar sir has covered two major topics of incident response system, that is IRS principles and features and planning P. Today we will go through the two major component of IRS, that it first is IRS operationalization and emergency operation center role and decision support system. So before that we will have a 5-minute recap session which will be covered by Shri Shekhar Chaturvedi sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Arun. What we covered yesterday was one, the basic principles and features of IRS, and number two, we covered the planning activities that are being taken care of under the IRS. So under this IRS, we also covered the history of IRS, how the IRS came into India and what adaptations were done by Government of India in covering, say, adapting and adopting this IRS as a response system in India. So in the principles and features, we covered 12-13 features of principles of IRS, because since it is a management system, it has two major components. One, it has certain agencies who are supporting it, and second, it has certain management principles to follow as a base to have the activity of IRS on ground. So the base of management systems is staffing, controlling, directing, organizing, evaluating, and monitoring. These are the management principles that are basis of IRS. And second is that the IRS has the organizational structure which is flexible, and it has certain support agencies for its smooth functioning. One of these agencies that we discussed broadly yesterday is Emergency Operations Center, which you all know, since many of you are from GVMC and district level officers. So at the time of emergencies, you have the Emergency Operations Center at the district level, at the state level. And there are two types of EOCs, one 24/7, 365 days, and second, which comes up at the time of the disaster, and it's closes down when the disaster is stabilized. So another major function of the agency which is supporting is the IDRN, India Disaster Resource Network, which gives you the details of the resource. So this was what was covered in the first, along with the roles and responsibilities of 25 different positions of the IRP structure. And then we moved on to the planning. What exactly is the planning, and how the activities are planned if we are moving ahead with the IRS to respond to any disaster. So planning P, the stem of the P, and the circle of the P, so which together constitute a planning section, and the final outcome of this planning section is the incident action plan, which is prepared for one operational period, which can range from to the maximum of 24 hours, because the studies show that after 24 hours the enthusiasm as well as the strength of the responders goes down because of seeing certain problem areas and also the ghastly events that has taken place as a disaster. So that basically is the operational period. So we covered these two items yesterday, and today we are going to cover how IRS is operationalized on ground, because there are certain activities which are to be taken up, and the second session will be taken up by Shri Vikram Gujar on Emergency Operations Center. So this was all as a recap. So over to you, Arun.
Thank you, sir. Now we will start from today's session. First session is from Dr. Shri Shekhar Chaturvedi, sir. He will be speaking on IRS operationalization. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. So again, we have this first slide of coronavirus prevention. I'll not go into much detail as I was discussing yesterday. I'll just run through this slide, that wear your mask properly. Do wear your mask when you are out of your house in the open area. Wash your hands properly for about 20 seconds with soap and water. Avoid touching nose and mouth, because these are the places from where it is established that the virus enters your body and starts damaging your breathing system. So keep physical distance, which is 6 feet, and also whatever areas you are touching, which is commonly used, you must sensitize those areas so that the impact of the virus is minimized. So this is again what we do. Today's session is operationalization of incident response system. So you see the picture of this incident response system. This is in US, and it is basically the EOC, which is being shown here. It has maps, it has system, laptop, computer system, washrooms, stay rooms, meeting rooms, all that, which I'm not going to, it will be discussed in the next presentation. So what I'm going to discuss is how we have talked about IRS, but on ground, how the activities take place. This is what we see as picture of disasters: landslide, earthquake, flood, and response is going on. Response is one, you have a immediate response by the community, and then you have a systematic response by the people, by the trained forces. So you can yourself visualize the difference when a trained person responds and when the community starts responding immediately. So initial response, what is initial response? You get the warning. If the warning is possible, the moment warning comes in, it is disseminated to all nooks and corners of the area which is likely to be impacted, and your immediate local authorities, they get into action, and that local IRT starts functioning on ground, which you can say, which you always see, that local authorities immediately come into action and starts functioning, starts managing with the available resources. So this is what is the initial response. that the situation, certain situation has been visualized here, and also the portion is that you get the maximum possible information, list out the resources which can be utilized with the help of resources. What is strategy you can imply, tactics, you start planning, you start operating, and you have the logistical support in place, whatever ground you are working in. Here, till this initial response, the local IRT is functioning. Local IRT, it may be one person, it may be group of persons. So local IRT starts functioning. Till now, no district IRT has been activated. So once the action points of the local IRT, which you can say that your local IRT comes in, you arrive at the ground, you assess the situation. Once you assess the situation, you assess the resources that will be used, and you know that whatever resources you have, whether those resources will be sufficient for managing this incident, stabilizing this incident, or not. So the actions that the immediate IRT for the initial response, the stem of the P will take are you will know, assess the situation on ground, then you will immediately frame the objectives, because objective framing is IC's job. You will immediately frame the objective, check, assess the resource availability, and if resources are available with you to execute the objective that has been set up, you will start executing, or otherwise you will demand for resources and change the objectives according to the available resources. Then you have the action plan ready with the help of people who are there assisting you, or if nobody is there, then you alone will frame the action plan, and that will be your initial organization, that IRT, that will start functioning, and you will ensure your personal safety, because that is much more important. So as far as the slide goes, and the activities go, you can visualize that the immediately the local official who is there, he starts functioning as the IRT. If he is single, then he'll perform all the functions, and if he has assistance of 2 or 3 persons, then he'll assign the jobs to them, delegate the authorities, and start functioning along with their help. So the local IRT, initial IRT, starts functioning on ground. And at the same time, you will inform the DC that we are taking these actions, and the district EOC starts functioning, wherein DM is sitting, who is the responsible officer, and the responsible officer. Also, the ESFs will start sitting, start assembling in the district operations center. They will then assess the situation based on the information received at their end, and if they visualize that the situation is becoming grim, because they will be having the information from other sources also. So if they visualize that the situation might go grim, and the initial IRT, which is on ground, might not be able to stabilize the situation, they immediately activate the district level IRT or the higher up level IRT, and ask them to reach the ground. So once the district level IRT reaches the ground, it has the discussion with the local IRT. It sends its field observers on the ground, who will have the situation who will assess the situation. They will have a briefing from the IRT while the functioning, while the management is on. They'll get the feedback from their own people, They'll get the feedback from the IIT, which is functioning on ground, and they'll frame their own objectives that these are the resources which is on disposal and will be reaching them, which have been demanded. So they'll immediately start action. And once they feel, the incident commander of the district IIT feels that yes, I am now, I have the full command of the situation and I can handle the situation on my own, then the district IIT announces that yes, I'm taking, the district IIT takes over the entire response action which is being taken on ground, and also keeps the local IIT with them, assigning them certain positions within the IIT, so that the information which is available with the local IIT is not lost, and that local IIT will be of great help to the district IIT which has come from outside. So then the new IIT starts functioning after getting information, etc. So they usually, everybody knows that what role we have to play, and they immediately get into action and develop the IAP, which can be utilized to stabilize the situation. So there were two points that we were discussing yesterday. One was the strategy and another was tactics. So when the important portion of the entire operations is the development of incident management strategy, which is called ISA. So what is the strategy? It is the general plan of responding to a situation. You, as we were discussing yesterday, that if there is a fire in a building and people are trapped in the topmost say floor, then there are certain if you are a responder, then you will have certain ideas or how you can say safeguard them. One, you can take them through the staircases. Second, you can get you can ask them to go to the top, and you can airlift, and you can also request them to say have the if they have the rope, then they can come down through the rope. So these are all what strategies based on the objectives that has been framed by the IC. These strategies are prepared, and once these strategies are prepared in the operation briefing, then the operation pre-plan meeting, then the resource unit leader and the planning unit leader, logistic unit leader, safety unit leader, they both come in and have a meeting, and they decide that what can be the final strategy which can be activated or implemented on ground. That strategy becomes your tactic, which depends on objectives, also depends on the situation of the area, depends on the resources available with you, and depends on the conditions in which you are working. So all these grouping, and you get to have one tactic. So this is all how the incident strategy is developed. And once this strategy is developed and you zero in on the tactics, that is to be how things are to be done on ground. So that becomes your then you start functioning on ground. So everything constraints, etc. Everything is decided in the incident strategic analysis meeting. These are the considerations, as I was discussing: current incident situation, weather situation, that is outside environmental situation, resources which have been ordered or resources which are available, Then safety considerations, because responder safety is very much important. Another and you must say if you talk of providing first aid, then you all must be knowing that you provide first aid only when you feel that while providing first aid, once you are trained to provide the first aid, second, you are confident to provide the first aid, and third, you are safe to provide the first aid. If all these three considerations are there, then only you will start providing the first aid. The similar conditions are here, that once you should be safe, you should be confident, and you should have how you will be confident. You are trained, you have the resources to go on ground, and you have support of the people to go on ground. Then there is authority, because without authority you can't work on ground. You need certain powers. Government functionaries, they all know that everything is to be black and white, nothing verbal is goes in. So delegation of authority is there, and there is a form 001, which is the transfer of command form, and there is a transition briefing in that. And the briefing, the existing incident team which is functioning on ground will brief the district IIT which has come in, and the briefing must include type of the incident, when it happened, what is the extent of damage, then you have what are the activities that have been taken, what are the tactics that have been followed, what are the resources that are available, and how they have been placed, and what resources have been ordered in order to stabilize the situation. And also tentatively the coming IRT is given a briefing on the likely time which will be taken to subsidize the or stabilize the situation. And also what are the protocols and procedures which have been followed, and are to be followed with the current situation on ground. Because if the situation on ground is worse, not with the condition of the condition of the disaster, but with the condition of the unrest among the community, then your objective and your plan will start change. This is what it is as a briefing 001 contains. This is transfer of command. Transfer of command, why it takes place? One, we were discussing that the situation demands of a higher authority to come in. Then the transfer of command takes place. The current situation, if it is already grim, then the higher authority comes in. Objectives which have been framed, if those objectives need to be changed by the changing situation by the environmental conditions, then the new IRT comes in. Then then if the present incident commander who is working ground is incapacitated due to certain impact of the disaster or due to certain other reasons, then the new incident commander takes place, and that is transfer of command. And these are the information that is to be provided while briefing the from one incident response team to the coming incident response team. This is the form 001 that I was discussing. This 001 form is basically filled in by the incident by the RUL, that is resource unit leader, in consultation with operations section chief, IC, planning, logistics. So this is prepared, and it is the written document that is being handed over by transfer of command is there. So once this is what the the stem of the P says all about. And once he is convinced, the coming IIT incident commander of the coming IIT is convinced, he says that now I take charge, and he starts functioning on ground as the incident commander with the help of his or her incident response team. So then the circle of the P starts functioning. They'll have pre-meeting, operational briefing, then pre-planning meeting, then planning meeting, then discussion on the IAP, support plans, then approval of the IAP and execution. This entire process must not take more than 15 minutes in any case. It can be less based on the situation if the situation demands, and at no point the activity which is going on ground is stopped due to this entire process. No activity which is going on ground is stopped. So activities are going on simultaneously. This functioning is being taken care of. Strategy meeting. What is the strategy meeting? Simple objectives that we were discussing. So objectives are much more important when you are going on ground. What does it say? Objectives that you have to you can't say that evacuate all people and livestock safely. No, you can't say. You have to have a number so that monitoring becomes easy and monitoring becomes effective. Unless and until you have that set of objectives, then the monitoring or the IAP or the say evaluation of what you are doing will become difficult. And if that becomes difficult, then your entire planning process is affected. And you can imagine that if your planning process as a responder is impacted by say a wrong objective, then the direction of the activity that you want to take on ground will become difficult. So this as a combination, this is the objective. Yes, you have to rescue n number of people, n number of livestock from this place to this place within this number of hours, or you can also say that by this time becomes much more easy, much more effective in terms of monitoring, because then because if you say that you have to evacuate in next 24 hours, then and I come in after 1 hour, then my 24 hour will start from after 1 hour. But your objective, which has been set, says that for me it is 23 hours which is left. But if I have the objective set with me that by 900 hours tomorrow, or by 2100 hours in the night, people this much people have to be evacuated, then at whatever time I come in, my target time would be 2100 hours. So that becomes much more easier for me also to plan, and for me to get the right kind of resource at right place and plan the tactics in order to achieve the goal. Pre-planning meeting. In the pre-planning meeting, what is done? It is operation section chief who governs that, planning section chief, and the RUL, the logistics section chief, safety officer. All those sit. They develop. They do the threat analysis of the entire incident. That is, they assess the situation. Site. They also get the information right from the site. Where to make the staging area, whether the staging area is empty or there are resources available in the staging area. They also go through the contingency plans, and if there are no contingency plan, then they prepare the contingency plan, assess the resource need, availability of the resource need and out of service resources, and then they ask for more resources to come in. Fill in that 015 operational worksheet, which says, which denotes the resources, placement of the resources, the bifurcation of the area or functional resources which are being used, need of the resources, and where those resources are to be brought in. That time and place is also mentioned in this operational worksheet. Then safety plan is also discussed in this pre-planning meeting, that whatever you are doing, whether it is safe or not. So once that is done, then the organization is developed. This is the operational worksheet. You see that you have divisions, areas. Every division has that work assignment, any special instruction, that is safety instruction. Then you have the resources which are there, which are required, and which have been assigned to the particular division, particular area. And the gap says that these are the need of the resources, and this need of the resources is basically which is ordered. And once the span of control crosses the limit, then you will need certain overhead positions, such as branch director, unit leader, supervisor, whatever it is. So that overhead positions are also requested for. Special equipments, if it is a gas leakage, then you will need the gas analyzer, breath analyzer, all that. So that special equipment are needed. See, in COVID, the special PPE kit is what is needed in terms of the responders. So that the special kit is mentioned here. You also mentioned that what time you want these people, the resources to be reaching, and the place where it has to be. These resources are to be reached. Right corner, you will see that it is prepared by whom. What is the position title? It is IIT position title, not your own position title. The above point number 2 says that you have date. The operational period is mentioned here, that from time to time you can name the incident, then signature, etc., and entire thing is then approved by the signed by the safety officer, and also signed by the approved by the IC. This is what 015A is, the safety analysis, which is done by the safety officer, which is also part of the IAP. So this is the support plans, medical plan, situation map, the communication plan, and the transport plan. So this one more plan is there, the demobilization plan. So that those all plans become part of the IAP. So you must know, you must have the situation map, which gives you clear picture of the situation, which is what are the places affected, what are the approach roads, how people can reach that, what is the present situation. Then you must have the transport plan, that how the people from the camp or the base can, or the staging area can reach the ground of operation. So that if by any chance one road is blocked, then what can be the other possible ways where this team can reach. You must have the communication plan, the command net, support net, the tactical net, which is being utilized by the IRTs. You must have medical plan. Medical plan is basically for the survivors also, and for the responders also. So that medical plan, how what all things you have, how those are to be utilized, what are how many injuries are there, how many deaths are there, how many people with with certain conditions have been shifted to the hospital or to the relief camp. So these are all what thing is there. Then you have the after this operational worksheet is finalized, then you have the planning meeting. These are all side by side. It is going on. By the time operational worksheet is being filled, the planning a team of the planning section is preparing for the planning meeting. So then these are the activities that are being done. These are the forms that are there, and briefing is done by the meeting is convened by the planning section chief. He gives the overall picture. Objectives are set by IC. Then operation section chief briefs about the operational plan, that is tactical plan. Then he also then the logistics section chief gives the all possible logistics and time till what time they can be placed on ground with the operation at the disposal of operations section chief. Then all the support plans are discussed, and then those all the plans, situation, objectives, etc. Everything becomes the part of the IAP. Then that IAP is overall discussed and is approved by the IC, and the operations start. So this is what the planning meeting is done, and development of IAP is done. So you see in the left corner, on the right corner, how the planning meeting takes place, and on the left corner, that what all are part of the incident action plan. Incident objectives, situation, incident objectives, organization, that is the IRT which is there, the assignment list, that is operation section chief, what tactics he has done, communication plan, medical plan, air operation if needed, traffic plan, safety plan, and other maps of the area, because we all see that talking, if you listen something, then the retention is always lesser than when you visualize something or you see something. So with that overall thought, maps and etc., everything is placed when you are discussing in the planning meeting. So this is after this planning meeting, the operations section chief takes charge of the operations. He briefs his own team, and the operations on ground starts by the new IRT. Meanwhile, the present IRT, which was functioning on ground, keeps on functioning, and they come in as a support, and they transfer of the activities they take place, or the person who are on the ground, it can also be added as a team member, as a task force, as a strike team, as a single resource with the new team which has entered. So at no point of time the activity going on ground is stopped. That thing is to be wiped off from the mind, that at no point of time the activity will stop on ground. It will continue, and meanwhile simultaneously the IRT which is coming will be functioning, and then they buttress what the activity is being done on ground. So we cover up the entire operationalization of IRS in this one slide. Disaster strikes, immediate response starts. This is immediate response. Then your the IIT, which the EOC and the responsible officers keeps strict watch, constant monitoring of the situation, and if they see that situation is going out of hand, then they immediately review the situation and summon the district IIT. District IIT functions, goes on ground and sees the situation, assesses the situation, assesses their resource, assesses what is going on, what resources they have, what resources have come in, what are the objectives, can they be fulfilled, everything is done, and this strategic analysis and all that are formed. Delegation of authority to the IRT is given, and incident commander takes charge. Transfer of command takes place. Once the incident commander takes charge, transfer of command takes place, and after transfer of command, objective strategies for the new IRT, tactics, etc., they are formed, because by that time the situation must have changed. So after that, the operation period is decided based on the situation. Operation period is decided whether it will be 6 hours or it will be 24 hours, or maybe the district IIT can visualize the situation by 24 hours we'll wind off. So they can have one full 24 hours as the operational period, and they can wind off. After that, the tactical plan on ground based on the resources is finalized, and resources are grouped, divisions, formal, etc. They are made on with the span of control. Then the planning, planning P, etc., and formation of IAP is done. Then once the IAP is approved, then the operational briefing is done, and the function operations on ground takes place. Execution, monitoring, resource management, logistics support, accountability, flexibility, everything is done. And once the situation stabilizes, debriefing is done, documentation is done, demobilization is done, and things close out. In entire process, you see how the IRT is developed on ground, and demobilization, etc., is done. Can anybody from your side as a participant tell that the demobilization of the resources, who can advise the demobilization of the resources? Can anybody from participants tell me who can advise or suggest for demobilization of the resources? It's basically common, and you must know, you must have been doing on ground, that who can basically suggest that yes, demobilization of the resources can be done. Anyway, I'm not getting the answer, so I'll tell you the answer, that it is the operational section chief, with the help of division supervisor or group supervisor, that yes, this area has been stabilized, so the resources can be demobilized, and it depends on the planning section chief and incident commander whether he or she wants to keep those resources with them, or maybe they can demobilize entirely, or they can say they can divert those resources to other divisions, or based on the suggestion of the operational section chief. Another person who can give a direction of demobilization is the logistics section chief. If he or she finds that this resource is out of service and cannot be repaired, so that resource is to be demobilized, because keeping that resource will add on the cost of the incident, and which you never will want, that the cost escalates while managing the incident. So thank you very much. This is how the IRT and IRS is operationalized on ground, and the situations are managed on ground. Thank you. Over to you, Arun.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for this presentation. Now I invite Shri Vikram Gurjar, Deputy Commandant and in charge Head Training Division NIDM, We will be speaking on Emergency Operations Center role as a decision support system. I invite you, sir. Over to you, sir. Shri Vikram.
Thank you, the presenter rights, so that I can share my PPT. Now I have shared. Is it visible, Arun?
Yes, sir. Visible. Just do F5.
I have done F5 for the okay. Now it's okay?
Now it's okay. Now it's okay.
ठीक, thank you. Very good evening and a warm welcome to all. So, Shri Shekhar Chaturvedi has very vividly and conceptualized his topic in a very lucid manner. And now I'll be speaking on Emergency Operations Center. As the term or the denotes, what do we mean by Emergency Operations Center? Basically, we can call it as a place where the entire planning, coordination, control room, command centers, situation rooms, crisis management centers. So it is simply an off-site facility. Why an off-site facility? Because it is situated far away or away from the disaster incident place. And basically, it is an off-site facility that will be functioning from state or district administration. And it is a control room. It can be called as a control room which has communication facilities and space to accommodate the various ESFs. Now, what are ESFs? These are emergency support functions, which we will be, or we can say these are line departments. This is one of the control room which we can, because it has a meeting room, it has a conference room, it has communication control panels. Now let's understand what is our emergency operations center. As I have taken two definitions. EOC is a physical location where the coordination of information and resources to support the disaster response takes place. As we all know, and it is very wisely said, when disaster strikes, the best protection is to know what to do. That is, as we have, everybody have studied that as per Newton's third law, every action has a reaction. But how to react, what to react, and when to react, that is most important, because that can only minimize the disaster loss. So, as I've said, that this is a physical location where an organization comes together during an emergency to coordinate response and recovery actions and resources. An organization, all the various departments, various resources, various manpowers, various stakeholders have to act and react in a coordinated manner. Then only we will be able to contain the loss of the disaster to the maximum or the optimum best possible ways. As I've said that what is the purpose of having an EOC? Because it helps to establish a location from where interagency coordination could happen without going to the on-site, because it is an off-site and it is situated at district level or state level as well, or at national level and even at organizational level. But basically it is off-site, it is away from the site, because so there are various agencies who are involved in functioning. Various roles and tasks have been assigned to the various stakeholders, but they have to work in an integrated manner. So this EOC is a place, or the EOC in charge gives directions, commands and control. So the EOC in charge is responsible for interagency coordination, and EOC can support multiple incidents if required by optimizing the human resources. Now, as I've said that this EOC is an what do we call it, control room, a big control room at a district or other level, but it should not be confused with command post, because unlike a command post, an EOC is established away from the disaster site, whereas the command post or the incident command post is situated on the site. And this EOC is situated away from the disaster site, but always and to the best possible extent that it is situated near to the government offices, and like the local government or the district or the state headquarters. And the best possible way to decide where it is situated depends on the scale of the response that is required to tackle with the disaster situation. The main task of EOCs are ordering of resources, coordination, planning, interagency coordination, and communication, because as we all know that communication is the backbone of all response or activities, reactions. It helps to establish and identify a predetermined place where the congregation could happen. So this is the predictability, which helps to identify that where the congregation of the resources or the manpower, or where the EOC is required to be established. As we all know that if a disaster takes place or any hazard disaster situation takes place, the VIPs are mandated, and you cannot neglect the VIP visits or the high level officials, because they have to visit to take stock of the situation, and they could visit and obtain the status without disturbing the operations, because if they we do not have an EOC, then they will visit to the site, which will hamper the efficiency and the of the IRT or the people who are on the on-hand operations. And it should be supported, the establishment of EOC should be supported by the legal framework of the jurisdiction. They should have clear-cut roles and responsibilities, and they should have legal bindings, and they should have legal framework support for their entire jurisdiction. What are the basic features of EOC? As we have seen, what are the aims? So let's discuss the basic features of EOC. Flexibility. As we all know that during a response or while responding to any situation, we need to have planned operations and adapt the operational space to meet the needs of hazard events. And so we need to have sufficient space for creating or establishing our EOC. We need to have unity of command. We need to have unity of command. We need to have operational capabilities. We need to have efficient resource management. We need to have flexibility in decision making. The second is sustainability. As we all know that this we need to have EOCs for which could be operational 24 hours a day, which could be operational even for longer durations. So because it depends on the operation or the mode and type of response you need to take. So it should be able to support operations for extended durations. That is, it should be able to have the element of sustainability. It could be a 1 day or a week or a month during all emergency situations, and there shouldn't be any interruption while we are dealing with the disastrous events. So it should be located in a place that it is not in a high risk area, because then we need to have backup EOPs or the additional EOCs. What are backup EOPs? We must have backup EOPs, because in case our existing EOC is disturbed or is becomes non-operational due to any reason, then there should be a backup EOC which will suffice the purpose of the EOC, and it will become as the EOC. So EOCs are required to be there. They are we are mandated to have EOCs, because without EOCs there we will not have that much effective sustainability. Security, as I have said, that it is a very coordinated effort. So we need to have proper security system. We need to have proper security guards, and it should be guarded against all potential risks. And it's all the operation activities which are being taken by the EOC members are required to be protected from unauthorized disclosure of sensitive information, because whatever information we have, it is very sensitive and it can create havoc or disturbance, or because these certain information should not be leaked. And we should have efficient security and structural integrity to protect the establishment or the established EOC. It's not only this EOC is required to protect it, its occupants, its communication equipments, and the systems from possible threats and the hazards. Then the survivability, it should be able to sustain the effect of a related risk and continue operation from the EOC, either from the same place or from a capable alternate position, that is a backup EOC. So there should be an alternate EOC always, which can be activated and used if the primary EOC, this alternate EOC can be called as secondary or the subsidiary EOC or the backup EOC. But it is so that it can be used if the primary EOC is destroyed, damaged, and it is not accessible for any reason. Interoperability. By this, we mean that this EOC should be able to share common principles of operations and exchange their routine and time-sensitive information with other EOCs, because we may see that there may be EOC at a organization level, at a district level, or a state level, and at a state national level. So there is exchange of information, there is exchange of resources. So we need to have a share. We need to share our resources. We need to share informations. That can be time sensitive informations. So they should be able to communicate with the local government or the state government, and should be able to respond immediately in emergency situations, and they should be able to communicate with the on-site IRTs from the state or the district or the local. So communication modalities, because without communication, this EOC will not be of any use. We don't have communication efficient and communication modes. So we need to have radio sets. We need to, apart from that, we need to have code signs, radio codes. We need to have web connectivity, and these should be considered primarily. Then now we can we'll say why is EOC a critical link in disaster response? As we have seen that we need to respond to every action as a reaction. Then what is the purpose of EOC? It is a very critical link between the government and the executioners. The IRTs are working, they are getting the required guidelines, directions, and commands from various levels. So it is the EOC that connects the on-site IRT with the higher level of officers in the jurisdiction, because EOC is a buffer between IRT and the high level officers at the district level. It helps to acquire, assign, and track resources, because it is in constant touch with the on-site people as well, and with the supervisory staff as well, and at the higher, that is at the state and other levels as well. It manages information. It divulges the required information to the required person, whom to know what, who to know what, and when the required information is required to be percolated down or passed down to the concerned element. It accesses support when a clarity and policy is required. So it is a supportive, because EOC documentation, incident logging is also a very important part, and whatever we document or jot down, it is a matter of policy, or it becomes a policy matter, because these they tend to become the case studies, and these helps in drafting our policy. It supports tactical response, but it does not determine the decisions pertaining to tactical response, because tactical response is not being taken by these EOCs. They are being taken by the on-site people, but as it supports, how it supports by providing resources, by providing available information, by getting in touch with them, by conveying their required demands or requirements to the concerned higher authorities. As I've said, that this is a very critical link between the IRT and the various state level senior government functionaries. So now we'll discuss how an EOC supports the IRT. It provides support resources, it provides additional information, it provides maps to them, it provides online communication, because without communication you can't have any successful operation, and it supports by holding regular briefing on the incident. It supports the technical thinking and provides ideas and inputs, because whenever decisions or the review meetings or the incident meetings are being taken by the in the conference halls or by the senior level officers, and it also provides supports by resolving policy level needs, because EOC is basically the district head, is the EOC in charge, and various line departments or the ministries works as EFS, and they all, when they work together, it helps in making policy by knowing the needs and by resolving the differences. And EOC decreases the burden of IRTs because it supports them. And if we don't have an EOC, then IRT is there who has to work on ground. So the IRT will be overburdened and it has to do additional tasks, which now EOC or the EOC office staff or the EOC organization chart does. Let's see how are EOCs organized. As we all know that EOCs are organized on the basis of emergency support functions. What all support any emergency situations require, we need to cater for it. So they are organized on the basis of the requirement of the support or the response we need to go for. So for every emergency support function, such as food, water, health, aviation, road, and others, we need different informations, and all these informations are, and they must be pre-identified by the line departments, and who will take the responsibility to support that. What this helps in identifying and categorically identifying the roles and responsibilities of all the various emergency support functions or the line departments. Or the representatives of these ESF leads will be present during the emergency response. They will organize for the additional requests coming from the IRT, because the handling disaster or responding to a disaster is a coordinated effort. We need to work as a team. We need to work hand in hand and unite. As there's a very famous saying that united we stand, divided we fall. So if we are united, we will surely be able to contain the loss of the disaster, and we will be able to handle the situation in a better and in an efficient manner. And we know every line or every person or every team or every individual is very much clear about its own roles and responsibilities. EOCs are usually dormant during the normal period, but that doesn't mean that they are not functioning. During this, there are various activities which they need to do in non-disastrous time activities, or we can say as in the peacetime when they are not that much active. So at that time, they can organize the trainings, they can carry out specific vulnerability studies, and they can carry out post-disaster evaluation and update their disaster management plan accordingly. And they can monitor public awareness campaigns or disaster mitigation preparedness and SOPs for various actors or the stakeholders are being operationalized. So these are the various functions. It doesn't mean that an EOC is only, as we all know, that EOC is active during disaster, but in post disasters we can go for PDNAs, and pre-disasters we can go for training and public awareness or mass campaigning. But as we know that EOCs are activated during response, and these activation may differ depending on the complexity of the disaster. It means whether it is required at operation level or a district level or a state level, depends on the situation of the disaster. And once the situation is under control, well within our control, EOC is deactivated after the response. Now, what EOC should have? It should have communication equipment. It should have communication equipment because this EOC is actually an augmented control room, having communication facilities and enough space to accommodate the various ESFs. Because if we do not have communication facilities, then we will not be able to work proficiently and in efficient and required. This communication facilities should be there with last mile connectivity. And for this, we may have, or this EOC should have a vehicle mounted with HF, that is high frequency, VHF, very high frequency, and satellite phones for deployment in the affected areas, because it is required to provide immediate connectivity with the headquarters and the IRT and the ICP. IRT and ICPs. It should have breakout rooms and meeting rooms, because when we have to work for continuously for longer durations, then we need to have breakout of the restrooms, and we need to have meeting rooms where meetings can be organized. Then it should have facilities for food and overnight stay, and meeting and briefing rooms must be there, because as we are in control rooms, and it should have contact number of the required of all those who are required to be contacted in the line of action while taking any response. Then what are the benefits of EOCs? As we all know that this EOC is establishing a common operating picture where all the line departments or all the various stakeholders at the district level are working in coordination. So we have a common operating goal with a common operating picture. It enables information analysis. Whatever information is being gathered, it is analyzed and further disseminated, and whatever is required to be passed on, it is required. It is passed on to the concerns. So there is ready access to all available information, and it coordinates prioritization and management of resources. This is very important, because without prioritization, we cannot deal with these disaster situations. What are our priorities? What are, while dealing with any disasters, we need to know our priorities, not only in disasters, while doing any activity, or we need to be very crystal clear in our mind about the priorities, what all actions we require to take, and what will be the sequence of the actions which we require to take. And more importantly, side by side, it helps in management of resources, because all the resources are required to be used optimizedly in optimum manner, and without management of resources in an optimum manner, we will never be able to achieve the desired tasks while containing the disaster. It promotes resource identification and assignment, because with this we can identify what all resources are required for what all situations and how we can assign them. Long-term operations are being facilitated, because as I've said that EOCs may need to work for weekly basis or monthly basis as well. We have seen in various disaster situations, and it improves continuity, because when we are working for longer durations and when we are working with other departments under one umbrella with common goal and common aim, we need to work with continuum, and it helps in continuity, because this EOC we have shift base duty persons as well, because it is in because of relief operations or rescue operations cannot be halted because of come what may. They have to be continuous, and until unless the aim is achieved, we cannot discontinue or stop the rescue activity. So these are the functions of EOCs. It operates an alert network, incident logging, which is very much important as documentation part. It helps team tasking, because various teams are there: planning, coordination, logistic, management team, communication team, various other teams. So it helps in tasking of the teams. Resource deployment and monitoring, because whatever resources are available with us, and if any additional resources are being required, this EOC gets in touch with the other EOCs or other district or the other state as well, and it helps in monitoring the resources and managing the status notice boards. What are the status and what is the current status and how it can be, we can go with it, and what all rectifications or amendments are required, we can go. The executive briefings are being done, because any VIP or briefings are a very major, important and integral part of operations, because this briefing helps in clarifying the doubts, and with every briefing we have there must be an element of debriefing as well, because after every debriefing we ought to know and we come to know about the requirement of other operation which we need to take on. And documentation, as I've said, incident logging and documentation, because we need to go for post-disaster need assessment PDNAs, which will help us in documentation. There are various challenges that there are concerns for these EOCs, because what are the reliability and security of support technologies? Because in this technology or era, we ought to be concerned about the reliability of the resources or the information we are getting, because we may have very fake information which can create havoc and chaos, and it can prove to be very disastrous. It limits on the availability of connections, because we in control rooms we need to have connections, internet connections, but there's certainly a limit to everything. And as we are using the electronic means, so the human factor of communication, which was earlier has lost its importance to a certain extent. But it is us or the human brain which controls the electronic means. So the human intelligence cannot be neglected. And there is one more thing, that various groups are working in coordination, which is during response or these disaster situations in rescue operations. So it is not easy to manage groups online, because once when we are in touch with physically in touch with them, we are giving command, we are monitoring. But here what we have, the EOC our persons are sitting at EOC this control room, and they are virtually monitoring and overlooking the rescue operations. So and that too online. So it's not that much easy, because online information and online control is not as effective as face-to-face control. This you might have seen in online courses and online studies which are going in schools. So as parents, we have seen the effect of this. And there are certain other things which need to know, which I would like to conclude, that EOCs are essential for effective direction, control, and coordination. Direction, control, and coordination of emergency response efforts. Because if these efforts are not efficient or not that much effective, then there is no guarantee that we could have the desired result. And these EOCs may operate at, as I've said, national, state, district, or organizational levels. But yet at each level, the basic purpose of EOC is to coordinate the multi-sector, multi-agency, interagency, multi-level response activities during an emergency or immediately after an emergency. So this EOC has a clear-cut or a crystal clear command structure with one person in charge and a team of technical support staff and external stakeholders. Where these ESFs, all the line ministries and departments and other offices are responsible for functional critical to response, because we need to work together. We need to work in hand in hand in order to respond to the situation. And all these line departments or the various other ministries or departments are being represented at the EOC. It is mandatory that all these are being represented. So what are these? So these are in the form of emergency support functions, ESF, which I've said. So all these emergency support functions, again, there may be number of agencies again involved as primary and secondary divisions, which I've said. So EOC needs to be in physically strategic facility off-site. This is a disaster resilient building. We need to have the security of the EOC and we need to have alternate or the backup or the subsidiary or the secondary EOC, and with all the required facilities such as communication, power, security, meeting facilities, and support facilities for the staff manning the EOC as in the primary EOCs. So, and other than these line departments or the other departments, it is advisable and effective for us if we have representatives of central teams, that is NDRF, armed forces, and they are deployed to integrate their resources, because their expertise can be very helpful to us so as to resolve conflicts that may arise during the response efforts between the district or the states. And these EOCs are very effective. They'll help in controlling or managing the disaster situation. And with this, I have come to end of my presentation. If there are any questions, you are most welcome. Thank you. Stay home, stay safe. Over to you, Arun. Hello? Arun, I finished. Hello?
Thank you, sir.
Sir.
Maybe Arun has gone somewhere. So what we'll do now is that is there if there is any question, we can go in for question answer session, because although the time was for giving the exercise, briefing about the exercise, but I was informed that the course is new to many of the people, so they might not be able to cover up the exercise. So we'll have other presentations tomorrow, wherein we'll have one presentation about the case study and another presentation on IRS as a tool for COVID-19, wherein we'll have the support of health officers from Government of Andhra Pradesh, Visakhapatnam as well. So we have changed the certain things and the structure of the program a little bit. So maybe we can devote this time for the question answer session. I had gone through many of the questions and I've replied those questions in the chat box only. There is one question from Mr. Dharmesh, and that which I needed certain elaboration or certain clarity about the question. Question is, what is a common operational picture and what is its significance in IRS? So Dharmeshji, if you can clarify what exactly you want to ask, I would be. Question is in the question answer session, sir. Just जो 3 डॉट हैं चैट के बगल में उसमें
अच्छा सर, ओके. Select a question.
So Arun, are you there now?
Yes, sir, I am there.
Can you unmute Mr. Dharmesh so that he can clarify the question which he has asked? Mr. Dharmesh Kosrikar.
Yes, sir. You can ask, Mr.
Dharmeshji, you can clarify the question now. Arun, please mute yourself.
Vikram sir, use the term.
Yeah.
Hello, sir. Your presentation. I just want to know that in our IRS system, the common operational pictures is used as a tool for responding emergencies.
Your voice is not clear, Dharmeshji.
Sir, I want to know the common operation picture. How can it help or to respond to emergency?
That is what I want to have a clarification. What do you mean by common operational picture?
Yeah, sir. It is a common operation picture. The term you just given us during the planning phase. We are using the different data and graph and all the things in a single way that we can decide the thing what we should have to do. It is all the agencies we are including in responding to the emergency. They have the one common picture, just like Google Map. We see the Google Map. We have the many things in Google.
Hello, Haranavir.
Okay, so
yeah.
let me respond. Would the common operational picture, which usually, as you are discussing, that maybe it is Google or but
No, sir,
what we usually use in terms of IRS is the picture which is approved by the government setup, because and also the map that is which is map is overlaid on the existing topology sheet, in terms of which the map which is a rough sketch which has been received from the ground situation. It has been prepared by receiving the answer or the situation from the ground ground zero. So that picture is overlaid on the topo sheet of the area, and the map that comes up as a result, that is the common operational period, common operational picture that we utilize under IRS. And significance is that once you have that picture in front of you, it becomes easier for you to plan, and also to for the EOCs to say monitor the situation, whether the things that that are being done or objectives that are being framed are in line with the goals that are set up. Thank you.
one thing, sir. Common operation pictures means we can use also data collected from different.
Yeah, data is basically.
I have given example of that.
Yeah, see, data basically utilized in terms of IRS is the on ground situation which has been received, because IRS ends where the response finishes. After that the things are being taken care of by the local authorities who do the activities which are in addition to the response in terms of the rehabilitation, relief distribution, or you can say the reconstruction, etc. So that portion is beyond the IRS purview. So that the data on ground at the time of during the situation, or the information gathered by the IRS team, is utilized as a common operational period, and rest beyond the when the situation stabilizes, the other activity, post-disaster activities, is being taken care of by the local authorities and not the IRT. Thank you. Yeah.
What is legal obligation of IRS?
Legal obligation of IRS is basically one that IRS is notified, then it is utilized. Number one, notified by the state government, then it is utilized in the districts as a response feature. And number two, the DM Act itself is the obligation for the IIT, because in any case DM Act says that the response is to be streamlined and effective. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Arun, any more question?
Sir, you have already answered them in chat box.
Okay. So I have already many of the questions I have already answered in the chat box,
So there is a question that why the time limit for IIT is 24 hours and what happen after winding up IIT, who will take charge of incidents?
And that I have just responded.
Yeah.
24 hours basically is maximum 24 hours is taken as the limit because there are certain there are certain studies which say that after 24 hours the capability and the capacity of the responders in such a stressful situation goes down. So you need some another team of IRT which has to come in and respond. Because you can't have a depleted response in terms of saving life and property. So that is the case why 24 hours is the maximum limit that has been kept as the operational period. And after the demobilization of the IRT or debriefing of the IRT, the local authorities take charge for the other post-disaster activities such as reconstruction, rehabilitation, relief distribution, ex gratia distribution, etc. Thank you. Any more question?
Sir, how to digitalize IRS process with the help of ITES, IT/IT services, and how come these be automated?
How to digitalize IRS process with the help of IT services?
Yes, sir.
See, Arun, mute yourself.
How to digitalize IRS?
See, as far as digitalization of IRS is concerned, basically ground activities cannot be digitalized because it is basically on-ground activity which is being undertaken under IRS. The process of activation of IRS can be digitalized and more or less nowadays the services of IT is being used. The preparation of maps that is being done for the utilization of IRT is the GIS maps, etc., and also the information flow is also is being using the IT services. So that is the processes of before the activity and after the activity can be digitalized, but the on-ground saving, etc., is yet to be digitalized because that is saving life and property. So if you are talking in terms of robot, etc., then it is still long dream. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any more question?
Response pattern reporting might be done through digitalized system to all the stakeholders in the different parts of global, like the blueprint prepared of ESSERR.
Response pattern, see, response pattern of every country is their own. So they are not globalized. They are on their own. So information flow that I have already discussed, that information can be digitalized and is basically using the digital pattern to be transmitted to different parts of the country and to different stakeholders. But for the sake of what we are using as a response pattern, that can be put up, that can be shared globally, but resources, etc., still what you are doing. You share the resources because international treaties are somewhere still in the pipeline. The ESERR treaty that you are talking of is basically focusing on the earthquake risk reduction. So there are other disasters also, and now things are going in the direction of multi-hazard, multi-stakeholder, rather than focusing only on ERR. And secondly, the rules regulations of each country differ. So it always takes time to get down and get a common picture in terms of responding to a disaster in the Asian region. Thank you.
There is a query for the feedback link. I will like to say that feedback link will be provided by tomorrow in the chat box only. So, sir, we can close down for the today.
So if there is no question, then we can close down for today.
Thank you. Tomorrow we will meet with the same link at same time.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you, Shekhar sir. Thank you, Vikram sir.
क्या करना है